Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jabikari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bikari.
Gopi Chandra Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Baba Girivaradhari.
Gopi Chandra Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Baba Girivaradhari.
Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bikari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Baba Girivaradhari.
Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. No camera. There it is. Yes, but it's not this camera. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Today we're reading from Srimad-bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 9, Text 31. Chapter is called The Dynasty of Amsuman.
9 сегодня песня, 9 глава, 31 стих, называется «Династия Амсумана».
Pasha Sador Apapasha
Tasya Sadhora Papasya
Brumasya Brahmavadinaha
Dronasya Brahmavadinaha
Katang Vadangata Babror
Katham Vadham Yatha Babror
Manyate Sanmato Bhavan
Manyate Sanmato Bhavan
Pasha Sador Apapasha
Tasya Sadhora Papasya
Brunasya Brahmavadinaha
Dronasya Brahmavadinaha
Katang Vadangata Babror
Katham Vadham Yatha Babror
Manyate Sanmato Bhavan
Manyate Sanmato Bhavan
Tasha Sador Apapasha
Tasya Sadhora Papasya
Brunasya Brahmavadinaha
Dronasya Brahmavadinaha
Katang Vadangata Babror
Katham Vadham Yatha Babror
Manyate Sanmato Bhavan
Manyate Sanmato Bhavan
Tasha Sador Apapasha Brunasya Brahmavadinaha Katang Vadangata Babror Manyate Sanmato Bhavan Tasha Sador Apapasha Brunasya Brahmavadinaha
Katham Vadham
Yatha Babror
Manyate Sanmato
Bhavan
Bhavan
Tasha Sador Apapasha Brunasya Brahmavadinaha Katang Vadangata Babror Manyate Sanmato Bhavan
Tasya Sadhora Papasya
Tasha Sador Apapasha
Dronasya Brahmavadinaha
Brunasya Brahmavadinaha
Katham Vadham Yatha Babror
Katang Vadangata Babror
Manyate Sanmato Bhavan
Manyate Sanmato Bhavan Tasya Sador Apapasha Brunasya Brahmavadinaha Dhavarangata Babror Manyate Sanmato Bhavan Tasha sadura papasha Brunasha pramavadinaha Yatang vadang yatavabror Manyate sanmato bhavan. Word for word. Tasha
Tasya
of him.
of him,
Sadho
Sadho
of the great saintly person.
of the great saintly person,
Apapasha
Papasya
of one who has no sinful life.
of one who has no sinful life,
Brunasha
Brunasya
of the embryo.
of the embryo,
Brahmavadinaha
Brahmavadinaha
of one who is well versed in Vedic knowledge.
of one who is well versed in Vedic knowledge,
Katam,
Adham,
how?
how,
Vadam,
Vadham,
the killing.
the killing,
Yata,
Yada,
as Babro
Mabror,
of a cow.
of a cow,
Manyate,
Manyate,
you are thinking.
you are thinking,
Satmataha,
Satmataha,
well recognized by higher circles.
well recognized by higher circles,
Bhavan,
Bhavan,
your good self.
your good self.
Translation. This is still the wife of the Brahmana who is trying to convince the Rakshasa king to not kill her husband.
Тут жена Брамана все еще продолжает убеждать Ракшаса, чтобы он не убивал ее мужа.
And this Rakshasa king was actually a king, but he was cursed to appear as a Rakshasa.
Этот Ракшас, он был прежде царем, которого прокляли, и он стал Ракшасом.
She says, you are well known and worshipped in learned circles. How dare you kill this Brahmana, who is a saintly, sinless person, well versed in Vedic knowledge? Killing him would be like destroying the embryo within the womb or killing a cow.
Тебя хорошо знают и почитают все образованные люди. Как можешь убить этого Брамана? Ведь он свят, безгрешен и хорошо знает Веды. Убить его все равно, что уничтожить ребенка в чреве матери или зарезать корову.
Srila Prabhupada's purport.
Комментарий Шрилы Прабхупады.
As stated in the Amara Kosha dictionary, that's a Sanskrit dictionary, Bruno Bakshe Vala Garbe.
Как утверждается в словаре Амара Коша, Бруно Рбхаке Бала Гарбхе.
The word Bruna refers either to the cow or to the living entity in embryo.
Слово «бруна» обозначает либо корову, либо живое существо в виде зародыша.
According to Vedic culture, destroying the undeveloped embryo of the soul in the womb is as sinful as killing a cow or a brahmana.
В ведической культуре уничтожение зародыша, не родившегося живого существа, считается таким же тяжким грехом, как убийство коровы или брамана.
In the embryo, the living entity is present in an undeveloped stage.
Современная научная теория, согласно которой жизнь возникает в результате соединения химических веществ, абсурдна.
The modern scientific theory that life is a combination of chemicals is nonsense. You read that? Scientists cannot manufacture living beings, even like those born from eggs.
Ученые не могут создать живые существа, даже те из них, которые вылупляются из яиц.
The idea that scientists can develop a chemical situation resembling that of an egg and bring life from it is nonsensical.
Мысль о том, будто ученые могут создать химическую среду, сходную с условиями ВИЭЦ и способную породить жизнь, нелепа.
Their theory that a chemical combination can have life may be accepted, but these rascals cannot create such a combination.
Теорию о том, что соединение химических элементов порождает жизнь, можно было бы принять, но эти мошенники не в состоянии создать такое соединение.
This verse refers to Brunasya Vadam, the killing of a Bruna or destruction of the embryo.
В этом стихе говорится о Брунасе Вадхам, убийстве зародыша, Бруна.
Here is a challenge. Really? Hare Krishna? Hare Krishna? Okay. This verse refers to Brunasya Vadam, the killing of a Bruna or destruction of the embryo.
В этом стихе говорится о Брунасе Вадхам, убийстве зародыша, Бруна.
Here is a challenge from the Vedic literature.
Это вызов, который Веды бросают ученым.
The crude atheistic understanding that the living entity is a combination of matter belongs to the grossest ignorance.
Примитивная и безбожная идея о том, что живое существо – это всего лишь сочетание химических элементов, есть проявление грубейшей формы невежества. Конец комментария.
Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, again, Srila Prabhupada is commenting about the materialistic, atheistic scientist.
Шрила Прабхупада снова в этом комментарии говорит о материалистичных ученых, атеистах.
He's not referring to the, so many kinds of technology that can actually be used in Krishna service. He's talking about his criticism here is about those who are claiming that by mixing some chemicals together, you can bring out life, you can create life.
Он не говорит о тех вещах, которые могут быть использованы, которые созданы ими и могут быть использованы в сознании Кришны, а говорит о том, что их теория несостоятельна, они пытаются утверждать, что могут создать жизнь.
And and the reason that Srila Prabhupada and the Acharyas fight so much against this principle, this idea of mixing combination of chemicals together and producing life, is that it leaves God out of the picture. There's no God in their ideas.
Шрила Прабхупада, как ачарья, он говорит о том, что вот эта их идея, что можно смешать химические элементы и создать жизнь, она противоестественна Богу. То есть там нет Бога.
And if they conclude that there is no God, then there's no ultimate authority. There's no higher authority.
И заключение таково, что если там нет Бога, то нет высшего авторитета.
And if there's no higher authority, then there's no real purpose to life. Life is whatever you happen to decide you want it to be.
А если нет высшего авторитета, то жизнь сама по себе она не имеет смысла.
And that is a very big problem.
И это очень большая проблема.
Because if people do not understand that there actually is a purpose to life, which is to become Krishna conscious. If they don't understand that, then what are they going to do? They'll just follow their material senses to enjoy in so many ways.
Потому что люди не понимают, что если есть Бог и сознание Кришны, которого выше совершенства достичь, то они просто тогда пытаются наслаждаться чувствами.
So there's a nice verse in the Shri Upanishad.
И есть очень прекрасный стих в Шри Упанишад.
If I remember the Sanskrit, I think it's verse 9. Anhang tamaha pravishanti ye vidam upashate tato guya ibate tamo davu vidyayam tamaha. Is that right? So, the verse means that it's describing that it's very dangerous, of course, to be in ignorance, but it's more dangerous to be the cultivation of so-called knowledge.
И в этом стихе говорится о том, что очень опасно пребывать в невежестве, но еще более опасно это культивировать так называемое знание.
So to be ignorance means, ignorance, of course, is the opposite of knowledge.
И быть в невежестве означает быть противоставлять себя знанию.
So knowledge means, what is the definition of knowledge? Bhagavad Gita.
Знание обозначает, какое определение знания в Бхагавад-гите?
Knowledge means to understand who is what is matter and what is spirit, and who is the controller of both.
И знание означает это понимание того, что такое материя, что такое дух, и кто контролирует эти оба параметра.
So someone who does not understand the difference between the material body and the spirit soul, and understand that Krishna, the God, he is the controller of everything, that person is considered to be in ignorance.
Если человек не понимает, что такое дух, что такое материя, и что Кришна контролирует все, то такой человек считается пребывающим в невежестве.
So the Sri Upanishad verse I quoted is saying that, ignorance is bad. That have not understand that your spirit, soul, and like that is bad.
Этот стих в Шри Упанишад, он утверждает, что невежество это плохо, поскольку нет понимания духа.
But more dangerous than that is the cultivation of so-called knowledge.
Но еще более опасным является культивирование так называемого знания.
So so-called knowledge means, basically, an example is what we're reading about in this purport. Everyone's being taught in school. Basically, life comes from matter, and the universe came about by a big explosion or some other theory like that. And that this is so-called knowledge.
И что же такое так называемое знание? Так называемое знание – это то, чему нас учили в школах. Это то, что жизнь порождается из соединения элементов химических, а Вселенная появилась в результате взрыва большого.
So Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport for that verse, he mentions that Srila Prabhupada mentions that No. I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought there. I'm remembering from the Sri Upanishad verse. Anyway, Srila Prabhupada refers to the so-called knowledge, meaning that he says that in modern times, that verse, that particular verse, and I don't remember, that particular verse is more applicable now than ever in the past.
И Шрила Прабхупада, вот стих я не смог его вспомнить, в Шри Шупанишат, там говорится о том, что та информация, которая там дана, она более актуальна сейчас, чем даже в прошлом.
And the reason it's more applicable is because in present times there is a big push for, she'll probably refers to it as mass education. Mass means a lot of people. I mean, you can easily give a lot of material, a lot of knowledge, a lot of material knowledge to a lot of people. That's mass education. It's called.
И Шрила Прабхупада говорит, что то, что это очень плохо, что вот это так называемое знание, его сейчас очень широко распространяют в массах.
And sometimes, maybe many times, what is taught is basically atheistic thoughts.
И то, чему учат сейчас, это в основном атеистические мысли.
So a lot of times what happens is, even if someone grew up in a, following some religious faith, not just Krishna consciousness, but some religious faith, believing in God, and they go off to school, to college or somewhere, and they're being taught something very different from what they grew up learning.
In modern times.
Modern times.
И Шрила Прабхупада говорит, что в современном мире очень, ходя в школу, очень сложно получить действительно знания.
So of course, if someone's got a very good, strong, let me finish this thought. So someone, just like someone may be studying, and their teacher may not, certainly what they're teaching in some cases may be have an atheistic nature, but you're following that. You gotta study it. You gotta give the answers that you're supposed to give in your tests and your papers. So a lot of times someone who may grow up following a certain religious path, but after that they decide, hey, this is all I've been taught is useless.
И так, когда человек ходит в школу и получает это нерелигиозное образование, то даже уже когда он вырастет, то получается, что он получил это образование, но оно бесполезно.
Of course, it doesn't have to be that way. If you have a strong philosophical understanding why things are the way they are, from Vedic understanding, then you can study these other topics and at the same time keep your Krishna consciousness.
Но если человек обучается ведическим принципам и таким образом строит свою жизнь, то он будет устойчив в сознании Кришны.
So Srila Prabhupada says, he says, and he's quoted actually this for Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, religion without philosophy is sentiment and sometimes becomes fanaticism.
Шрила Прабхупада, он упоминает, цитирует Бхактисиддханту Сарасвати, который говорил, что religion without philosophy is sentiment.
Yeah, and sometimes becomes fanaticism.
То есть религия без философии, она является сентиментами, а иногда становится фанатизмом.
And philosophy without religion is just mental speculation.
А философия без религии – это просто умственные спекуляции.
So the meaning of that, of course, is that if you have philosophy, you have many philosophies in the world over ages. If the conclusion of that philosophy is not to surrender to God or to serve God, then it's basically useless. It's mental speculation.
И, Шрила Прабхупада говорит, что сейчас существует множество различных философий в мире, но если философия не ведет к религиозности, то это просто умственные спекуляции, а такое знание, оно бесполезно.
And on the other side, if you have religion meaning following the rules and regulations and so on that your scripture says to follow, you do that, but you don't have any real philosophical understanding of why things are the way they are, then that is it becomes sentiment. It becomes sentimental.
Но с другой стороны, если человек следует какой-то религии, в которых в Писаниях есть правила предписания, то есть он всему следует, но у него нет философского понимания, почему и зачем делает те или иные вещи, то такая религия без философии – это просто сентименты.
So just like the example, it's basically in the Judeo-Christian line, you're taught that beginning of God created everything in so many days, and He created first two people, Adam and Eve, like that, and certain things came about that were described in the scriptures. And they describe the scriptures give a certain description of how the world and how people came into being.
It slipped my mind.
Okay. Just like in the Bible or in the Bible, you understand? Just like they're taught, the teaching is first people existed were Adam and Eve. Okay.
То есть, как в Библии приводится, говорится о том, что первые люди это Адам и Ева.
And how God created the world in so many days, like that. 6 days.
И то, что Бог он создал жизнь, создал мир за 7 дней.
Different things like that. So, but from the material scientific point of view, things are described very differently, and then so people, and you study that, and then you think, well, it says like this here. My scripture says like this here, but I don't have any proof that what the scriptures are saying is true. So therefore, I'll follow the scientific way, and I'll give up the religion. It happens like that.
Но с другой стороны, с точки зрения материалистической науки, они какие-то свои там предоставляют теории, вот, и не следуют тому, что говорится в Библии.
And so anyway, the point is that in Krishna consciousness, in our path, we have a very strong philosophical basis for understanding why things are the way they are, why we do the things that we do.
Но у нас в сознании Кришны есть очень сильная философия, которая объясняет, почему вещи происходят и зачем и что мы делаем.
There are not just so many rules and regulations and like that. There's reasons why we follow what we follow.
У нас также есть много правил и предписаний, и объясняется, почему и зачем мы следуем им.
So in that way, if someone actually, if those who are practicing Krishna consciousness, if we study the books and we follow the philosophy, then that is actually necessary to help us to become and remain Krishna conscious.
И когда мы изучаем книги наши и следуем этой философии, то мы непременно станем сознающими Кришну.
And of course, sometimes in practicing Krishna consciousness, there are so many other ideas that come up that are thought of that are not really on our path, like say for example the Ritvik idea. Just like the Ritvik idea. So there's no real basis in as far as scriptures go, or as far as what our founder Acharya has taught us. There's no real basis for that idea, but still the idea comes up.
То есть, но также и существуют, например, ритвики, которые не имеют каких-то твердых оснований в своей философии, хотя они основываются на книгах Прабхупады, но они выдвигают свои какие-то теории.
So that's an example of the religion without the philosophical basis.
И вот это и является примером религии без философского основания.
Because the idea is the Ritvik idea is out there, and many people believe in it.
И идеи ритвиков, они другие, но многие люди верят им.
But if you actually study the words of Srila Prabhupada, study the words of the acharyas, there's no basis for it. And the real principle is the cyclic succession, and you want to be initiated into the process is by a living guru like that. That's what the scriptures say. That's what the philosophy says.
Но в книгах, если мы изучаем книги Шрилы Прабхупады, то в них все есть с четким основанием, ученической преемственностью, живым гуру, и поэтому мы просто следуем.
Okay, so there's a couple points here.
Вот несколько моментов из этого комментария.
So Srila Prabhupada is pointing out here how he's actually comparing the killing of a child in the womb to be on the same level as killing a brahmana, which is very sinful, and of course killing a cow, which we know is very sinful.
Шрила Прабхупада говорит, что убийство коровы, убийство брамана, убийство зародыша – это очень греховно.
And of course, Srila Prabhupada came to preach. We say in our prayers to Srila Prabhupada, Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pasyatadesha Tarini.
И, конечно, Шрила Прабхупада, он приехал, чтобы проповедовать, и об этом говорится в его пранама-мантре.
So that Srila Prabhupada specifically came to teach the people in the Western world, actually the whole world, but the Western world, against the principle, the idea of impersonalism, against the idea of voidism.
И Шрила Прабхупада специально приехал для того, чтобы обучать людей Запада тому, что идеи пустоты и имперсонализма, они неправильные. То есть он боролся против этого.
And of course, impersonalism means Sankaracharya's presentation of the impersonalist philosophy.
Имперсонализм – это та философия, которую представил Шанкарачарья.
And voidism, of course, is the Buddhist idea, which is
А,
voidism.
пустота – это философия буддизма.
And the effect of impersonalism and impersonalistic and voidistic ideas leads to so many other ideas, including this material, atheistic, scientific, so-called scientific um, knowledge, we'll call it.
И идея в том, что вот эта вот философия имперсонализма и философия пустоты, она содержится в современном атеизме, так называемом научном знании.
So impersonalism doesn't just mean that there's some Mayavadi sannyasi walking around and preaching like that. The effect of impersonalism and voidistic ideas is built into our lives in general in the material world.
И разные майявади и саньяси, они по всему миру проповедуют вот эту вот философию имперсонализма и философию пустоты.
And even those who say, I believe in God, I love God, like that, it's very easy to become still affected by the impersonal and impersonalistic and voidistic influence of in the world. It's still very easy to become influenced by it. We're all very much influenced by these things.
They say, I love God.
Huh?
They say, I love God.
They say,
do they say, I love God?
some people, many people say, many people say, I love God.
Many people, not
Many people.
Mayavadi.
No, not the Mayavadis. But
То есть множество людей, они говорят, вот я люблю Бога, но в действительности ничему не следует и ничего не делают.
But a true understanding of love of God comes with an understanding that our, who we are, that we are spirit soul. We're not this material body.
И истинное понимание Бога – это понимание того, кто есть я, то есть что я не есть материальное тело, я духовная душа.
And of course, the expression of love of God, real expression of love of God, it means engaging in service, devotional service to the Lord.
А настоящее проявление любви к Богу – это преданное служение Богу.
So anyway, from our Krishna conscious point of view, we need to constantly be, as Prabhupada said, every day be studying, hearing Srimad-bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, studying this philosophy, and of course living a holy life, regular the principles and chanting, and that way we can overcome the impersonal and voidistic tendency and become Krishna conscious, go back to Godhead.
И Шрила Прабхупада говорит, что ежедневно изучая наши книги Сримад-бхагаватам, Бхагавад-гиту и повторение ежедневное, оно помогает противостоять вот этому наплыву имперсонализма и пустоты и стать сознающим Кришну, вернуться домой к Богу.
Any questions? Comments?
Вопросы какие-то, может, комментарии?
No. Go in. Yes. Microphone. Microphone, please.
Basis for impersonalism is it the mode of ignorance?
Основа имперсонализма это больше невежество.
Is the basis of impersonalism mode of ignorance. Impersonalism is a great. It's a deviation from the actual knowledge of the Vedic scriptures.
Имперсонализм это отклонение от ведических писаний.
And what is ignorance? Ignorance means understanding what is matter, what is spirit, and who is the controller of both.
То есть что есть дух, что есть материя, и кто контролирует все это. Это и есть знание.
So based on that, yes, it actually is ignorance.
Основываясь на этом, да, имперсонализм это более, ну, это невежество.
If you read that verse, Yenya Ravindaksha Vimuktamani Svayasta Bhavad Avishuddha Buddhaya Aruhya Kruchena Parampadam Tata Patantyadho Anadruta Yushmadantraya. This is the shloka by Brahmaji to Krishna, that these impersonalists or more or less their intelligence is Avishuddha Buddhaya. It may not, see, the thing is, if you read Bhagavad Gita, the qualities of tamogun or ignorance is different. It is ignorance of not having developed intelligence. They may be in sattvagun. I mean, the whole thing is in sattvagun, but because their intelligence is not developed, it's given Avishuddha Buddhaya. That means they are not having pure intelligence. Their intelligence is not yet developed. So in that way, it can be told, it can be said as ignorance, but not in the tamogun. I mean, tamogun is different. Tamogun is, what is that? Andhakaram, it's darkness, it's laziness, it's sleepless. So the qualities of tamogun are different. But when we see the impersonalism and the impersonalists, we don't find tamogun, but it is not developed intelligence. That's what the shloka says. If you read the whole thing, because they are so much enamored with the material world that they are averse of any personal form. They think that having a personality itself is wrong. So they are averse. They are going in, like, just like what is meant by man attraction or woman. It is an impotency of It's impotency going in a different direction. So it's the same way. This is tamogun. The qualities are different. But when you see, it is ignorance of God's form, the Supreme Lord's form, but it's not ignorance of tamogun. The ignorance word is ignorant. They don't know. In that way, it is ignorant. But it's not the ignorance of tamogun, because the translation of.
Okay, good.
I'm trying to explain.
Yeah, I understand. It's a good answer. Thank you.
Defined as a deviation is not is correct, because according to what he's saying is misunderstanding, not complete understanding of knowledge. But one thing is deviation and one thing is not a complete understanding.
Okay, so Yes, and in the impersonalism, what Sankaracharya did, um, he would take certain verses that he would really emphasize certain verses, and he would write very heavy, big commentaries on them to uh, emphasize the the impersonal side of it, which is rather. In other words, he wouldn't say there is no personal form. He just didn't concentrate on that. He concentrated on emphasizing the impersonal aspect more, and that was what was necessary for his particular. He had his particular purpose, as we described before, trying to convert people gradually from the Buddhist idea that there's who of course had rejected Vedic scriptures. He's trying to say, okay, you take the Vedic scriptures, but now kind of in this impersonal way. Impersonalism is actually what's the word? Huh? No, it's not the word. It's like disguised. It's like impersonalism is like disguised voidism. It's the same thing. You go into the void in Buddhism, or you go into the Brahmajyoti, which has you have no activity, nothing there. So that's impersonalism. So that he was emphasizing the impersonal side in order to, but in the end, or at some point in his life, I think he said to his disciples, you fools and rascals, you just worship Govinda, you fools and rascals. So he ultimately was telling them, you engage in devotional service, you're misunderstanding me, and what he taught was actually was meant for a certain time, and it's not really meant to be followed now, but still it's very popular. There's a time to gradually change the philosophy of the people. The philosophy people understood from voidism to something that accepted Vedic scriptures, to something that gradually brought in understanding of God and living entities and our relationship and devotional service. That was all done over hundreds of years, reaching the perfection in Lord Chaitanya's time. So, okay, it's getting a little late now, so I guess we have to stop for now, and we'll continue tomorrow.
Мы остановимся на этом.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Dharma Prabhu ki.
Jai. Bhagavatam ki jai.